Over the years, I've realized that I write my best code when I'm not coding at all. That there are routines that only take a couple of minutes every day and can significantly increase my effectiveness as a software engineer. And that I only regret not starting to implement sooner. If you're new here, my name is Juan Carlos and I'm currently working for Microsoft as a software engineer, and today I'm excited to share with you 5 routines I've found to support a healthy and productive coding day. Steve Jobs famously conducted many of his meetings while walking. This was a deliberate choice that leveraged the power of movement to enhance creativity and problem solving. Walking can unlock cognitive pathways that often remain dormant when we're confined to our desks. In my own experience, walking to work has transformed a simple commute into a ritual that frames my focused work sessions. This daily practice acts as a sort of mental refresh, allowing me to get to my desk with a clear mind and maybe even new perspectives on challenges that I was facing earlier or the day before. What's cool is that scientific research supports this notion, as I more recently found out. Studies indicate that walking can significantly enhance cognitive function and creativity. This comes from the way movement influences our brain's processing of information. As we walk, our brains engage differently due to the physical act of moving through space. The result of this forward motion via our vision is known as optical flow, basically the dynamic patterns we perceive as we navigate our environment. And this optical flow has been found to help with anxiety. Now, I'm not aware if anyone has correlated this with focus, but at least in my experience, I'm significantly better at focusing on the days where I don't feel anxious. So integrating walking into your coding routine can yield a lot of benefits. Some easy things you could try are stepping away from your desk for a brief moment. If you commute to a physical office, you could explore public transportation options that involve a little bit of walking here and there. And even if it doesn't yield all of the benefits, you could try a desk treadmill. My fiance has one and loves to use it. You just won't get the benefits of optical flow because you're not literally moving forward, but it's still a lot better than just sitting down. Alan Turing, one of the pioneers of computer science, would often emphasize the importance of getting the theoretical foundations right before diving into implementation. I didn't originally learn this from him, but it made a lot of sense when I learned more about him. And I couldn't help but to relate it to this other idea that I heard somewhere: measure twice, cut once. Because Turing understood that a well thought out approach could lead to more efficient and elegant solutions. It's about understanding the problem deeply enough before attempting to solve it. Because the resulting code should describe the behavior you're trying to model, not this footprint or history of your own thought process to make it work. In my early days with code, I would often just rush into writing it, just wanting to see some results. However, as I progressed in my career, I realized the value of spending a bit more time in design and planning. And I don't mean to make a big formal process out of this. Just spending some time in your own head, laying out a plan for your code is a really good starting point. Adopting a more intentional design process made me write significantly better code. I also introduced a lot less bugs because I maximized type safety, and the number of revisions needed after code reviews also dropped. More importantly for me, the solutions I developed were more elegant and more satisfying for me to build, and they better embodied the minimalist in me. This is important though. This approach doesn't mean you should spend endless hours planning without action. It's about finding a balance. I found that allocating 20 to 30% of a project's time to intentionally design and plan the code yields the best results for me. You could go as far as creating detailed specs, flowcharts, and even pseudocode before writing the actual code. But really, just sitting down to think is an awesome first step. The idea of deliberately stepping back to foster productivity may seem counterintuitive, especially in the fast-paced realm of software engineering. However, some of the most influential figures in the tech industry have long understood its significance. Bill Gates, for example, famously practiced what he called think weeks. During these periods of isolation, he would disconnect from the daily grind and engage in deep thinking and extensive reading. These retreats were not mere vacations, of course. They often culminated in pivotal strategic decisions that shaped the future of Microsoft. But I honestly dismiss this as a luxury reserved for CEOs. The thought of stepping away from code almost felt irresponsible at times, particularly with the constant pressure to deliver results. But with time, I realized that those weeks in which I had to take a day off because I wasn't feeling physically well or I was dealing with some anxiety ended up being surprisingly productive, assuming of course that I could use some of that time for rest and reflection. This idea aligns with the psychological concept of incubation in problem solving. Our brains actually continue to process information subconsciously even when we're not actively focused on a task. I remember first reading about this in Barbara Oakley's course and book Learning How to Learn, where she refers to this as the diffuse mode of thinking. This background processing can definitely lead to sudden insights or solutions. You know, these aha moments where the solution appears to come out of nowhere. And if you think about it, this idea overlaps in its benefits with our first routine around walking. The main difference being the intention and the fact that walking very much has a mechanical component to it. I have to admit though that as much as I recognize the value of this, I personally really struggle with this one. My mind is always in hustle mode and it's very hard to justify stopping. But implementing this routine does not require week-long retreats. Scheduling some off days every now and then, or even just spending some time on any given day is a good starting point. Paul Graham, a renowned programmer and entrepreneur, emphasizes the importance of clear writing as a means to clarify thinking and improve communication. Writing not only enhances one's ability to connect ideas effectively, but it also aids in navigating complex office dynamics, which ultimately contributes to your career development. I can speak directly to this because writing online has significantly opened up opportunities for me. I started my career in software exactly with a combination of coding and writing by creating a Cloth Penguin blog of all things. I would actively engage with the community on Twitter, and these YouTube videos also required quite a bit of writing. Consistently putting my thoughts into writing has been instrumental in advancing my career. For those specifically interested in applying writing to coding, keeping a dev journal has been particularly effective for me. And this practice just involves documenting your work, the communications you've had, and any follow-ups that might require your attention. It's a practical way to incorporate writing into your coding routine without necessarily committing to writing for its own sake. And it's awesome because your coding sessions are much more structured and grounded versus when you just sit down to continue coding. And if you're interested in developing your writing skills more broadly, online resources like Ship 30 for 30 offer structured approaches to building a writing habit. But again, if you're not inclined to write for a public audience, just incorporating a dev journal already has awesome benefits. It not only helps in organizing thoughts and tracking progress, but it also serves as a valuable reference for future work and team discussions. My own journey with meditation began years ago when I first read The Art of Mindfulness. The concept seemed simple enough, but actually sitting still and focusing on my own breath for even a few minutes felt really challenging, and I would often get frustrated about not being able to hold my attention for very long. More recently though, with the convenience of modern apps like Headspace, I found it easier to integrate meditation into my daily routine and get better at this. It's also a routine that I've unfortunately neglected a bit in the past few months, but it worked wonders for me when I was more consistent. And again, research supports these observations. Numerous studies have highlighted the cognitive benefits of meditation, particularly for problem solving and maintaining sustained attention. For instance, a study involving 22 experienced meditators and 20 novices found that a single session of mindfulness meditation significantly enhanced cognitive performance. Participants showed faster reaction times in a digitized Stroop task, a psychological test that measures how well a person can focus on specific information while ignoring distractions. Anyways, they showed faster reaction times after the meditation compared to their performance before the meditation and that of the control group. The improvement was particularly notable in tasks related to attention, inhibition, and cognitive flexibility. And in addition to this, long-term meditation practice has been shown to enhance various cognitive functions like attention, memory, and executive function, which are, of course, crucial for coding. I feel like a salesman already, but if that wasn't enough, meditation has also been found to boost your working memory capacity, a key component in problem solving and, of course, coding. Plus, it, of course, helps you reduce stress and anxiety, which are, of course, better known side effects of meditation. For those interested in exploring this, I just recommend starting small. Begin with a short daily session, perhaps just 3 to 5 minutes, and gradually increase the duration as you become a bit more comfortable with the practice. There are numerous beginner-friendly apps, like I said, Headspace, and also techniques online available that can guide you through this process. These routines should help you become a more efficient coder. But if you're looking for a more holistic path to your first job in big tech, I recently uploaded a video where I share my own journey transforming and channeling my bad habit of just playing tons of Club Penguin into a Microsoft internship. So consider watching that next if you have some time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.